My mom and my daddy had been together my whole life, back and forth. When I was born, they weren't together anymore. Then right after, they got back together. But I don't know, they had a love that I can't explain.
3 years later, Pamela gives birth to a boy, Dustin. Jesse keeps getting into trouble with the law, and their on-again, off-again relationship continues.
My dad would go to prison, and he would get out, and my mom would go back to him.
A decade later, Pamela is fed up with Jesse and gets close to her childhood friend, Ronnie Hendrick.
And this last time, she didn't go back. She had said she wasn't going back, and we moved to QUAN with Ronnie.
Pam and Ronnie were neighbors growing up in Arkansas and played together as kids. Now, when Ronnie's mom, Debbie, remarried, she and her 3 boys moved to rural Texas with her new husband, Cecil Kegley.
In her early 30s, Pam meets Ronnie again and starts dating her former boy next door. In August 2000, Ronnie convinces Pamela to move to his home in Westhoff, outside Cuero, Texas. It's about a mile from where his mom and stepfather and 2 brothers live.
Pamela and her 2 kids live there with Ronnie and his daughter from another relationship.
This puts a state line and hundreds of miles between Pamela and her ex-husband, Jesse.
Pamela's daughter, Kayla, is less than happy about their new home. They have left behind everyone they know, their friends, and her father, Jesse.
I wanted my daddy around. I didn't want Ronnie with my mom.
Kayla's new home is in the middle of nowhere. The only time they see other kids is when they go to school in Yorktown, which is about 20 minutes by bus away.
As the months pass, life with Ronnie Hendrick becomes less and less happy for Pamela and her kids.
As Ronnie's family saw it, Pamela was pulled in 2 directions, between the life with him and the unhappiness of her children who didn't like living in the country.
Ronnie's mother, Debbie, noted that 12-year-old Kayla was becoming increasingly difficult.
Ronnie's family said Pamela suffered from depression and was taking medication for it.
Debbie says that around Christmas, Pamela confided with her that she had contemplated suicide.
Early in the new year of 2001, Pamela tells Ronnie she's going to leave him in Texas and return to Arkansas with her children. Pamela loads her belongings into a trailer owned by Ronnie's stepfather, Cecil.
Ronnie said he didn't want Pamela to go, but her children are unhappy here, and she doesn't know what else to do.
In the early evening, Cecil will come and drive Pamela and her children back to Arkansas. Ronnie's 2 brothers, Mikkel and Shannon, are nearby, hunting doves. They are the only other people within a mile of the house.
Pam has just gone into the bathroom to freshen up before the long ride home while they wait for Cecil to arrive.
Ronnie Hendrick kept a .32 caliber revolver in the house.
Ronnie said that as he came into the bedroom, he saw Pamela lying on the bathroom floor. As he reached the bathroom, he saw the gun beside her.
It appeared that Pamela dropped the pistol after firing it at herself. She was bleeding badly from a wound in her right temple.
Ronnie said that the children ran into the bedroom to see what happened, and he had to shield them from the scene.
Ronnie's 2 brothers, Mikkel and Shannon, ran to the house after they heard the shot.
Mikkel went inside while Shannon stayed outside to take care of the kids.
Shannon later said the kids told him Pam and Ronnie were having an argument that evening. He said that when they asked their mom what was wrong, she said it was nothing. Then she said she loved them, said goodbye, and went into the bedroom on her own.
Pamela Shelley has a terrible head wound, and from this remote house in rural Westhoff, the nearest hospital is miles away. A 911 call goes out.
Ronnie and Mikkel Hendrick tried desperately to keep Pamela Shelley alive until help could arrive.
Healthcare. It's so outdated. You know what time it is? Time for change. It's time for someone else to coordinate all our care, like a whole team.
My very own team? Welcome to Oak Street Health. The doctor will see you now.
I just made this appointment yesterday.
Now that's more like it.
At Oak Street Health, we're changing what it means to get older by changing healthcare for the better. In fact, we specialize in caring for older adults. So call today.
Here, every member of your team works together to build your personal care plan and manage all your healthcare needs.
That includes nurses like me,
Social workers and mental health support.
And of course me, her doctor,
I take the notes for him.
so I can spend more time listening to her.
she does like to talk.
What if I have medical questions late at night?
Or early in the morning.
We do have a 24/7 patient support line, even on weekends. Plus, we accept Medicare and can even help you understand your plan's benefits.
That's quite the benefit.
Gone are the days of doctors who only want to see you when you're sick. Oak Street Health focuses on keeping you healthy. Why settle for the old way of managing your health? Now that there's Oak Street Health.
It's time for less red tape.
Better now? We even gather all of your medical records and health history. So switching to Oak Street Health is easy.
Does any of this cost extra?
Heck no.
Well, out with the old way of aging.
And in with the new.
Oak Street Health specializes in helping older adults feel their best. Call 855-271-5403 to schedule your visit with the only primary care provider selected to carry the AARP name, Oak Street Health.
What you do?
I'm a thief. Promise me I won't lose her.
Love all this, don't you?
Job satisfaction isn't a crime.
But the rest of it is.
What's your name again?
Jessica.
All right, team, saddle up. I want Q1 full index reports my desk by noon.
Are you getting any of this?
Yeah, Otter's got the meeting notes. I'll ask it for action items on the channel. And Maria already asked for a budget reminder. Smart.
To judge you by. Got it?
Got it, boss. Otter, you got this.
My doctor told me I needed to start prioritizing my liver health.
Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed supplement that supports healthy liver function.
My stomach feels a lot better.
He has more energy. He sees his grandkids more.
Start your liver health journey today at dosedaily.co.
I tried everything to lose weight, and then I found this. Weight Watchers members lose up to 56% more weight when combining our points program with weight loss medication. This time, it just feels right.
Shelley is packing up her belongings to move back to her home in Ashdown, Arkansas, when she shoots herself in the head on the evening of January 6th, 2001.
A 911 call goes out and an ambulance is dispatched from Yorkton, a town 20 minutes from her boyfriend Ronnie Hendrick's rural home in the hamlet of Westhoff.
When first responders reach the scene, it's already dark, and members of Ronnie's family, his brothers, mother, and stepfather, are all there, along with 3 children.
Ronnie's mother, Debbie, and stepfather, Cecil, say they've been taking turns performing CPR on Pamela, who is mortally wounded.
Pamela's 2 children, 12-year-old Kayla and her younger brother, Dustin, along with Ronnie's child from another relationship, are kept away from the tragic scene.
Debbie later said that every time she tried to help Pamela breathe, she bled more. And she had to get her sons to bring towels into the bathroom to mop up the blood.
Pamela was bleeding badly from her nose and mouth, but she was still breathing.
When the EMTs come inside, they see a pistol on the floor next to Pamela. They ask Ronnie to move the weapon out of their way so they can attend to Pamela. Pamela clearly needs immediate surgery and intensive care, so the EMTs decide to take her to nearby Cuero, where she can be airlifted to a tertiary care hospital in San Antonio.
Ronnie accompanied Pamela in the ambulance to Cuero, leaving the kids behind at the house.
Despite her terrible wound, Pamela still shows vital signs when they reach Cuero Regional Hospital. She is immediately flown by air ambulance to the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. At the Brooke Army Hospital, Pamela is stabilized and put on life support. Doctors determine there is nothing they can do to save her.
Pamela's daughter, Kayla, keeps calling the hospital to check on her mom.
My uncle and my aunt came and drove the next morning to get me and my little brother. But all night long, I'm calling the hospital and they're telling me that, oh, it's okay, she's gonna be okay, she's okay.
When they get to Pamela's bedside the next day, the family faces a grim reality. Pamela has suffered massive skull and brain trauma, which has left her brain dead. She will never regain consciousness.
They take us to the hospital the next morning, and my grandma and them are outside, and my grandma tells me that she's brain dead. My grandma was like, I'm sorry, she's not gonna make it. And we're like confused because all night we've been told that she was gonna be okay.
Pamela will never regain consciousness on her own. At this point, only the machines are keeping her alive.
Her family makes the difficult decision to disconnect her from the life-preserving machines. For little Kayla, it's a moment to say goodbye to her mom.
Stayed all day with her. I just talked to her and held her hand and just talked to her some more and told her I was just sorry for being the little kid that I was.
Later that evening, Kayla makes the difficult decision to let her mom go.
I tell her, I'm sorry and I love her. And at 9 o'clock, I took her off the ventilator.
Pamela Shelley dies on January 7th, 2001. An autopsy is performed at the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office in San Antonio the following day.
The conclusion made by the medical examiner's office is a suicide death by gunshot to the head. The report noted the gunshot to the head was a contact wound, meaning that the handgun that killed Pamela was pressed tight to her right temple when it went off.
And then we get her autopsy papers and they say suicide. And I freak out.
For Kayla, the idea that her mother would leave her and her brother on their own is unthinkable.
She's not going to leave us kids there. We packed up all of our stuff to leave because I said I wouldn't stay there. Why would she leave us there with him?
Pamela's body is brought back to Arkansas for burial. Kayla and Dustin are sent to live with their grandparents in Ashdown. Ronnie Hendrick rode with Pamela from his home to Cuero on the night of the shooting. He did not make the air ambulance trip to San Antonio. How did Pamela Shelley get a hold of Ronnie's pistol? And why did she shoot herself? Police have some serious questions for Ronnie Hendrick.
At DriveTime.com, we've been hard at work, and we finally did it.
Did you make it so I can finally see my real payments and shop at thousands of cars with no hit to my credit?
Wait. Yes! Shop for cars online with no credit hit!
Go to DriveTime.com and get approved with no credit hit.
My melasma made me feel really ugly. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I just hated taking photos.
How am I ever going to get rid of it?
Stop suffering from melasma. More than 600,000 people have regained their confidence with Muesli's prescription treatments.
In the first 2 weeks, I was amazed.
I looked at myself in the mirror and I just thought, I'm back. I've been telling everybody about it. It's been life-changing.
Find the real you again. Go to muesli.com/TV.
Not gonna happen.
That's it. I'm calling Kohler about their walk-in bath.
My name is Ken. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm calling about Kohler's walk-in bath.
Excellent. Happy to help.
Hold one moment, please. The Kohler walk-in bath features an extra wide opening and a low step-in at 3 inches, which is lower than other walk-in baths on the market. The bath fills and drains quickly, and the door ensures a watertight seal, so you never have to worry about leaks. Kohler's walk-in bath was designed with convenient handrails for added stability and safety. The wide ergonomic seat is tilted back for comfort and stability. It has a channel so water won't pool on it, and it positions you perfectly by the controls, while the heated backrest soothes your back, neck, and shoulders, warming up your body before, during, and after the bath. Kohler is an expert in bathing, so you can count on a deep soaking experience.
Honey, are you seeing this?
The Kohler walk-in bath comes with powerful, fully adjustable hydrotherapy jets and our exclusive bubble massage.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Everything is installed in as little as a day by a Kohler certified installer. And it's made by Kohler, America's leading plumbing brand.
We need this bath.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Call 800-504-4817
to receive $1,000 off your Kohler walk-in bath and take advantage of no payments until 2026. Visit KohlerWalkinBath.com for more info.
Would you mind passing my book there?
Call 800-504-4817
to receive $1,000 off your Kohler walk-in bath and take advantage of no payments until 2026.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
On the evening of January 6, 2001, an ambulance is dispatched to a remote rural home near the hamlet of Westhoff, Texas. A woman has suffered a gunshot wound to the head. 31-year-old Pamela Shelley is transported by ambulance to the nearby town of Cuero, then immediately airlifted to the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio.
Her brain injury was catastrophic. At 9 p.m. the next day, her 12-year-old daughter Kayla is at her side when her ventilator is switched off and Pamela is pronounced dead.
The coroner's ruling is definitive. It's a suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. But this tragic matter still needs to be investigated by local police.
Police arrive at Ronnie Hendrick's home in rural DeWitt County as Pamela is being loaded for transport to hospital.
DeWitt County Game Warden Michael Hoffman takes a brief statement from Kayla in the yard while Pamela and Ronnie Hendrick are whisked away in the ambulance.
And I just really felt like we weren't heard at first. Like, it didn't matter, really.
Kayla is just 12 years old. She's obviously very upset about what's happened to her mom, and she's saying that Ronnie Hendrick is in some way responsible.
They're getting our statements, but nothing is really being done about it because they still let him go in the ambulance with my mom.
Deputy Brandon Riedel of the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office and his colleague Deputy Carl Bowen soon arrive at the scene in separate patrol cars.
Deputy Bowen hears the call on his police radio on his day off.
It's telling that Deputy Bowen comes to the scene on his own time because the case turns into an investigation that he takes personally and will pursue for years.
When Bowen arrives, he sees the packed trailer ready for Pamela's land move. Then he sees Pamela's children who are visibly upset.
I just remember like balling my fist up and like punching the ground and like kind of freaking out. And the police and everybody comes. We can't go in the house.
Deputy Bowen decides not to interview Kayla at the time. And the distraught young girl wonders why she is being ignored.
They're not even talking to us really at this point. So we're even more confused. We're like trying to figure out why everything is happening and we really don't know anything. My little brother is super confused.
Ronnie Hendrick has left in the ambulance, so his parents and 2 brothers are left to explain what happened.
Police are told that Pamela and her 2 children have been here since coming from Arkansas 5 months ago.
The relationship with Ronnie became more difficult as the children grew homesick. And this was especially true of Kayla, who they said had become hard to deal with.
They say Pamela was driven to the brink because her relationship with Ronnie and her children couldn't be reconciled.
Ronnie's family tell officers Pamela has a history of depression and suicidal thoughts, as recently as just a few weeks before.
They say Pamela was supposed to be on antidepressant medication, but they're not sure if she was taking her pills.
DeWitt County deputies retrieved the weapon and one spent slug from the crime scene.
All of the adults are providing a consistent picture of how and why Pamela shot herself. The lone dissenting voice comes from her daughter Kayla, who was interviewed by DeWitt County Game Warden Michael Hoffman, not a policeman, when he first got to the house.
Kayla feels like she's being ignored, and that the stories police are hearing from the Hendrick family aren't entirely true.
His mom comes outside and says something about a gun being on the ground or whatever. They found the gun, and I'm like confused because I'd never seen a gun.
Ronnie Hendrick is interviewed at Cuero Hospital by a deputy from the DeWitt County Sheriff's Department after Pamela is airlifted to San Antonio on the night of the shooting.
Ronnie's story matches his family's account of how depressed Pamela had become once she decided to take her children home to Arkansas.
DeWitt County deputies are unable to compare Ronnie's account with Pamela Shelley's, since she never again regains consciousness.
They ask Ronnie Hendrick to submit to a polygraph test, and he initially agrees.
He cancels his first appointment, then fails to show for the subsequent appointment. Then he just can't be found at all. Ronnie Hendrick leaves the state.
From what I understand, there was really no investigation of the police at all. He got questioned, and that was the end of it. The wound that she had was a classic suicide wound, if you just look at it.
The case file on the death of Pamela Shelley is closed and would stay that way for the next 7 years.
So for a couple years, I just continued to write and call and never got anything.
And the case is ruled a suicide. The investigation is over. It's about as cold as the case could ever be.
By this time, you just kind of, what else can you do, you know? It's consuming my life at this point.
7 long years later, all that changes thanks to a lone cop and a determined young woman who can't let go of some troubling childhood memories.
At Humana, we believe your health care should evolve with you, and part of that evolution means choosing the right Medicare plan for you. Humana can help. Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans that can provide more coverage than original Medicare, including prescription drug coverage, all wrapped up into one convenient plan. With original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at Medicare supplement plans. If a service is covered under original Medicare, then a Medicare supplement plan pays for some or all of your Medicare deductibles and the 20% co-insurance, but they may have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans include medical coverage, plus prescription drug coverage, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Most plans include $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, vision coverage that includes vision exams and a yearly allowance toward eyewear. Even hearing benefits that include routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. You can get $0 copays for in-network preventive services and $0 copays for routine vaccines. And there's worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. Plus, Humana also offers Medicare Advantage plans. Plans have $0 or low monthly plan premiums, and there's a cap on your out-of-pocket costs. So call or go online today to see if there's a Humana plan in your area and to get our free decision guide. Licensed Humana sales agents are standing by, so call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
All right, time to do some selling. That's going towards rent. Oh yeah, that's going towards girls' night. And that's going towards a new bag.
Every new listing by February 5th gets a chance to win a $50,000 prize pool. Terms and conditions apply.
Ever since I got my Jackson chain, I never take it off. I wear it every day, and it goes with any fit. With over 50,000 five-star reviews, Jackson is the most trusted men's jewelry. It's featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, and GQ voted it the best men's chain. Don't wait. Get him something he can wear every single day. Get him the perfect gift at Jackson.com.
Get the right office furniture for whatever you're working on. Upgrade your office at branchfurniture.com.
It's been 7 years since Pamela Shelley dies from a gunshot wound to the head in a remote part of DeWitt County in rural Texas. Her death is ruled as suicide.
One person alone did not believe that Pamela shot herself, her then 12-year-old daughter, Kayla, but it seemed to her that no one was listening.
So, at 12 years old, I'm writing letters to the police department. I'm writing letters to everybody I can think of. Me and my grandma are trying to figure something out, and we hear nothing.
One day, Kayla, now 19, is at work when she gets a phone call out of the blue.
My boss calls me and tells me a detective is looking for me, and I need to call him back as soon as possible. Well, then when I call him, he asks me who I am, and I say I'm Kayla Suggs, and he says, "What's your mom's name?" And I was like, "Pamela Shelley." And he said, "I'm Detective Bowen, and I want to reopen your mom's case." And the feeling of like happiness and just joy that maybe something could be done.
For years, Kayla has been calling the authorities, trying to get someone to look into her mother's death.
Nobody would answer our phone calls. Nobody would answer our letters. It was just like they didn't want to have anything to do with us.
Detective Bowen was a deputy with DeWitt County Sheriff's Department when he went to the Hendrick house on January 6, 2001.
Bowen was never satisfied with the Hendrick family's explanation that Pamela shot herself because she was depressed.
In 2008, Ronnie Hendrick is back in DeWitt County, and this time he's in jail.
Ronnie Hendrick was being held in Cuero on an assault charge for violently beating a woman he was living with.
Ronnie took off after Pamela died in 2001 after repeatedly dodging requests that he take a polygraph test to show he was telling the truth about what happened to her that night.
Since then, Ronnie moved to South Dakota and later got in trouble with the law there.
He's been charged 5 times for assaults involving domestic and family violence.
He spent time in jail there in 2002 for a felony drunk driving conviction.
He has 3 charges for driving while intoxicated. In 2005, he was arrested on a warrant for a parole violation in South Dakota.
Detective Bowen uses the opportunity of Ronnie Hendrick's detention in Cuero to set up an interview about Pamela Shelley's death.
Ronnie's account to Detective Bowen in 2008 is the same one he offered in 2001. On the evening of the shooting, he was outside on the porch when he heard a shot from inside the house.
He rushed in to find Pamela on the bathroom floor with a gunshot wound to her head, his gun lying beside her.
Detective Bowen again asks Ronnie to take a polygraph test, and Ronnie agrees. Testing is booked for the following day in Austin. Afterwards, Detective Bowen drives to Pamela Shelley's hometown of Ashdown, Arkansas, to interview her family and friends.
Kayla Suggs was 12 years old at the time of the shooting in 2001, and she was never formally interviewed by police.
Ronnie always drank, and then coming to Texas, it seemed like he drank even more. He was drinking all the time, and it never got better. When he would drink, he would get mad. He would get really mad easy, and he would just be angry. He would just be starting stuff just to start stuff, or making comments just to make them, just to be mean.
Kayla tells Detective Bowen of an argument between Ronnie and Pamela that turned into a physical fight, then a breakup that 2 days later led to a shooting.
And he just was starting stuff, and my mom said, "Just leave us alone," and he told us to get out. And she said, okay. And he said, right now. I walked past his chair and I told him, you messed up now. And next thing I know, he had hit me. And I fell and hit the bar. My little brother was screaming for my mom.
Pamela sees Ronnie has hit Kayla. Ronnie and Pamela start fighting again, and Ronnie grabs hold of Pamela's ponytail and hits her head with his knee, giving her a black eye. Pamela has a seizure, a condition she was taking medication for.
At 12 years old, Kayla had to guide his injured and ill mother through the dark to Ronnie's parents' house over a mile away.
He wouldn't let us take the car. He wouldn't let us get a flashlight. We couldn't take anything. On the way to his stepdad's house, my mom had another seizure. There's no lights. We're on a gravel road. And we're just trying to keep her from hurting herself even more on this rocks.
That night, Pamela calls her father in Arkansas and says she's had enough. They're coming home. The next day, Ronnie's stepfather Cecil brings over a trailer and Pamela begins to pack. But her black eye is too bruised to see out of.
So her eye had swollen completely shut and she couldn't open it anymore. So we had to go to the hospital.
The Hendrick family doesn't want Pamela telling the hospital that Ronnie hurt her.
Well, they tell us to just lie and say that she fell. They lanced her eye. We went back home. We packed all night long. We load everything up on the trailer and we're ready to come home.
Ronnie is drunk and refused to help Pamela pack.
While we're watching TV, my mom comes in the kitchen and she's putting makeup on her face. She tells me that we have to go to the store and she doesn't want everybody to see her eye. And she goes back in her room. This is like at 6 o'clock. We're supposed to leave at 6:30.
Pamela cries out from the bedroom. Kayla goes to the door to see what's wrong.
I hear this horrible scream. I get up out of my chair and I go around to where her room is, and her bedroom door is shut. And I open the bedroom door and I can see her feet on the floor, and then he's standing like in the bathroom doorway. And he won't let me in there, and I don't know what happened.
Pamela is on the ground. She's badly injured. Kayla has no idea how she got hurt.
And I got into the bathroom, and she was laying there with blood everywhere. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just was trying and talking to her and praying so for her to wake up. His mom was going to work or something, and she goes to call 911. Well, the ambulance people get there, and I have to go outside. And then his mom comes outside and says something about a gun being on the ground or whatever, or they found the gun.
This is the first moment that Kayla realizes her mother may have been shot.
I never heard a gunshot. I honestly had thought he had beat her up and she had like hit her head or something. I didn't know anything about a gun.
Detective Bowen comes back from Arkansas with a new understanding of what happened at Ronnie Hendrick's home back in January of 2001.
Pamela Shelley wasn't a heartbroken woman who committed suicide because she was depressed. She was the victim of an alcoholic, abusive man who beat her and shot her to death.
When Detective Bowen returns to Cuero, he learns that Ronnie Hendrick has failed his polygraph test and changed his story.
Hendrick now admits he was in the bedroom when he saw Pamela shoot herself, and now he wants a lawyer.
If Ronnie's not being truthful, it's not just one man lying, it's an entire family conspiring to hide a murder.
Healthcare. It's so outdated. You know what time it is? Time for change. It's time for someone else to coordinate all our care, like a whole team.
My very own team? Welcome to Oak Street Health. The doctor will see you now.
I just made this appointment yesterday.
Now that's more like it.
At Oak Street Health, we're changing what it means to get older by changing healthcare for the better. In fact, we specialize in caring for older adults. So call today.
Here, every member of your team works together to build your personal care plan and manage all your healthcare needs.
That includes nurses like me, social workers, and mental health support.
And of course me, her doctor. I take the notes for him, so I can spend more time listening to her.
She does like to talk. What if I have medical questions late at night or early in the morning?
We do have a 24/7 patient support line, even on weekends. Plus, we accept Medicare and can even help you understand your plan's benefits.
That's quite the benefit. Gone are the days of doctors who only want to see you when you're sick. Oak Street Health focuses on keeping you healthy. Why settle for the old way of managing your health, now that there's Oak Street Health?
It's time for less red tape. Better now? We even gather all of your medical records and health history. So switching to Oak Street Health is easy.
Does any of this cost extra?
Heck no.
Well, out with the old way of aging.
And in with the new.
Oak Street Health specializes in helping older adults feel their best. Call 855-272-6227 to schedule your visit with the only primary care provider selected to carry the AARP name, Oak Street Health.
Meet Avocado's best-selling green mattress. Made with certified organic cotton, wool, and latex, plus ergonomic coils to support your body's natural curves for cool and restorative sleep. Featuring a 1-year in-home sleep trial. Complete your bed with organic pillows and bedding. Shop today at avocadomattress.com, proud supporter of 1% for the planet.
As you get older, your liver health becomes an increasingly important part of the aging process. We created Dose for your liver to make taking care of your liver easy. Dose is an organic blend of liver-supporting ingredients and is clinically backed to promote healthy liver function so that nothing's holding you back.
You should choose Southern New Hampshire University. Now knowing comparatively what other universities cost was way more affordable. Being able to transfer my credits from the biggest college I attended, it set me ahead almost 2 years. Visit snhu.edu.
True Crime Network is celebrating 10 years. From cold cases
What happened to this woman?
to courtroom justice, you've supported us every step of the way. Thank you for your support.
DeWitt County Detective Carl Bowen is convinced that Ronnie Hendrick killed Pamela Shelley in January of 2001.
Hendrick's family conspired to back up Ronnie's story that Pamela was depressed and shot herself.
Bowen wants DeWitt County District Attorney Michael Shepard to support an indictment for murder. It won't be easy.
The reason the case wasn't prosecuted is because rational, professional people decided it was a suicide. That's what you have to overcome, and it's very hard to do. You don't even have police reports because there was no crime believed to have been committed.
To convince a jury that Pamela was murdered, you have to convince them that the authorities got it all wrong in 2001.
You really have to work hard to piece together sufficient evidence that you think can then persuade a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that you got it wrong the first time and you got it right this time.
In 2008, prosecutors decide Detective Bowen has not found enough new evidence to bring a murder charge against Ronnie Hendrick. The case goes cold again.
He fought just as hard, if not harder, for my mom than what I did. And for it to go cold, it didn't just affect me and my family, it affected him too. Like, he really was wanting to help us.
Meanwhile, Ronnie Hendrick is facing other charges of domestic violence for attacking a woman he was living with in 2008.
I mean, it was a violent episode. He was very physical with her. It was very frightening to her. It was very aggressive and violent. And that's very similar to the assault that Carl uncovered as having had occurred to Pamela Shelley.
4 years later, in the summer of 2012, Detective Bowen revisits the Pamela Shelley investigation.
A team of criminal analysts is sent to Cuero to assist in the investigation.
The gun that killed Pamela is still being held in evidence. It's sent for touch DNA testing to verify who touched the weapon.
When the EMTs arrived to help Pamela, they saw the gun lying by her left leg and had Ronnie move it out of their way.
The results are surprising. There is no DNA evidence on the gun.
The lack of DNA on the gun suggests it was intentionally wiped down at the scene.
When Kayla heard Pamela scream, she immediately went to her side on the bathroom floor. But she never heard the gun fired or saw a gun next to her mom.
In early 2012, investigators took Kayla back to Ronnie's house, now abandoned, and performed a precise reenactment of events from that fateful day in 2001.
If a gun was next to Pamela, Kayla would have seen it then.
And then I'm like confused because I never seen a gun.
While at Hendrick's abandoned house, crime scene investigators also demonstrate how Ronnie could have approached Pamela with a gun while she looked in the bathroom mirror. They showed how her reaction could explain the path of the bullet that went through her head.
If Ronnie had held her hair, as he did when he beat her 2 days earlier, she would not have been able to move out of the way of the shot. And if the gun was held close against Pamela's head, the shot would have been muffled.
The original coroner's report notes that Pamela had extensive bruising on her body, but it also says the bullet wound was self-inflicted.
There's like 4 pages of bruises and stuff on her body that are listed. But then they said the gunshot wound was this way, and so it was automatic suicide.
After reevaluation in June 2012, the medical examiner's office changes Pamela Shelley's manner of death from suicide to undetermined.
Prosecutors also find that Pamela lay wounded on the bathroom floor for more than an hour before Ronnie's family phoned 911.
And why that happened, I think, is because the defendant